Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Super Mario Galaxy Part 19. Part 19. Fellas, if you were here for the last episode, we did the Hungry Luma Star for the bedroom dome, and then we finally moved into the engine room dome and we spent like half the episode on 1 star. It was not good, to say the least. A bit of a snoozer episode. Progress-wise, but there was a little bit of banter. So if you're kind of in these episodes for the banter and less of the gameplay progression, which don't really know how many of you guys that would really equate to, but if any of you if any of you are into that, then it was a good banter episode. It was just a pretty bad progress episode, to say the least. But fellas, in terms of banter stuff, I did mention. Oh god, I did mention at the end of the last episode, what is my camera doing? Dude, this is bad. Okay. Boom. Hey, Cataquacks being here are also very relevant, by the way, since Cataquacks are playable in Mario Kart World. I still can't believe that, by the way. I just want to make it known. That is still legitimately insane to me. But I wanted to spend a little bit of this episode, since the Mario Kart World Direct is in 3 days, right? I wanted to spend a little bit of this episode kind of discussing with you guys what I expect to see in the Direct, because I think that it's going to be kind of an interesting Direct. To me, this Direct sounds like it's going to give off the same vibes that the Mario Kart 8 Direct gave off back in 2014, because, there was, similar to Mario Kart World, and I think, before Mario Kart 8's release, there was actually a Direct for the game that kind of went over some of the game's overall core mechanics in regards to, like, discussing the anti-gravity, discussing stuff like, what you typically see in every 3D Mario game, or not 3D Mario game, what? In every, dude, my brain's blanking, in every Mario Kart game. So like, time trials, all that stuff. They discussed online modes, which obviously they had a little more to talk about in that compared to previous Mario Kart games, because, that was like the introduction of like Mario Kart TV and all that stuff, which apparently Mario Kart TV is coming back, which I can't be mad about. I mean, I'm sure there's probably even better implementations of it that can happen as a result of, where do you want me to come with me? I don't know where you want to go. Oh, I bet I know where you want to go. Come with me, little buddy. No, not there. No. It's like a maze, isn't it? But yeah, so I don't know. They're probably, listen, if there's one thing that I can just kind of say straight out of the gate that they're probably going to talk about in the Direct, it's probably going to be stuff, it's going to be stuff in regards to, the modes that we typically are used to seeing. They'll probably re-talk about, like, the existence of the Grand Prix mode. Maybe they'll go over that whole thing of if Grand Prix mode has a modifiable thing where you don't have to do the intermission tracks. This is so unbelievably jank. Yeah, they may go over that sort of stuff. They may not. I don't really know for a fact. Again, I still am of the belief that there might be a pretty good chance that Grand Prix is just going to require you to do the intermissions. And like I said, I think to some people that's going to be a little bit weird. It's going to be a little bit weird. For me, I've said my opinion on this before. I think it's fine. I don't think there's any issue, in my opinion, with doing it that way. Okay, so how are you... Bro, this looks like a Jenga tower. Wait, can I, like... I don't know if you're actually supposed to do it like this, but I kind of want to see. Wait. Oh, dude, I just need the wall jump angle. Okay, well, that would probably require me facing the wall. Dude, that's so dumb. I don't think I'm supposed to be up here like this. And it doesn't really matter, because... Wait. If I... Oh, dude. Dude, that could have been so cool. All right, it's fine. It's so fine, dude. I wouldn't even worry about it. Do we need, like, a bee suit? We do. it appears. I know exactly what you're supposed to do. Come with me, little buddy. Doink. Yeah. And then what you're supposed to do, okay? I see the vision. Bring you over here. Float up. It's weird. I feel like I'm playing this like I don't remember that, which I remember Gold Leaf Galaxy. I don't remember the specific stars a lot of the times in these galaxies, you know? That's the part that kind of goes over my head a little, but yeah, I think they're going to talk a little bit about Grand Prix mode, a mode that actually has yet to be discussed at all, by the way. That is normally a staple in every Mario Kart game is time trials. They have not talked about time trials at all in Mario Kart World. And there's a part of me where I'm like, why would they not talk about time trials at all? And to be honest, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that, I don't know, I think they're focusing in the initial like marketing push for this game. They're really pushing for a lot of the gimmick of the game, the open world, you know, all that stuff. So a lot of the stuff they're going to be willing to show off is stuff that really showcases the existence of the open world. So in Grand Prix mode, you know, obviously they're going to show that because, you know, it showcases a lot of stuff in regards to, you know, the intermission parts and all that. And, you know, the free roam mode is obviously, that's what it's all about, right? The free roam mode is literally all about the, you know, the big open world. Time trials, though, when you really put into perspective time trials, I have to believe that time trials would have to work somewhat differently, right? I have to believe that they would work somewhat differently because, you know, either what it is that they work the exact same as they've always worked, and, you know, time trials are going to be proof that, hey, you can do a 3-lap version of a track, which is potentially something that they may touch on in the direct, right? Or time trials may work kind of new and kind of like revamped in a way that kind of matches the vibe of going through the open world. So maybe during the time trial, you're actually going through some open segments, or maybe there are more open segments that you can do time trials of instead of just the individual tracks, right? So that's kind of my thing, and maybe my reason why I think maybe they haven't shown off anything related to time trials. But I do think they're probably going to talk about time trials, you know, in the upcoming stuff. I do also think as well that they will probably elaborate a little bit more on what Knockout Tour is going to be like. Because I think Knockout Tour, to me, from my understanding, Knockout Tour looks to be like, in the way that it works, because the way that I thought it originally worked was that you essentially got to pick a set of tracks to travel between, and then you would travel between those. That does not appear to be how it works. Now, that doesn't mean that that won't be a customizable thing, right? I want to clarify. That might be a customizable thing, and we just don't know. Ooh. We're going back down. Gold Leaf has proven to be kind of a mean galaxy. I'm not even going to lie to you, fellas. But yeah, so the way that it appears to work is similar to Grand Prix, where, you know, there's separate cups. There's preset routes that you go to that function like cups that are specific to Knockout Tour, and I believe there's like 8, just like the amount of Grand Prix that exist, and I don't know, man. It's like, I really can get with it. I don't think this is how you're supposed to do this, but it looks a little easier, so I'm going to do it that way. Ooh, thank you for the arrow. Thank you for the arrow showcasing where I'm supposed to go. I assume they want me to... Okay. Okay, no, they just want me to do that. Something I think they also... Or, like, I really... Something I really want to see them talk about a fair bit is stuff in regards to customizability. Because I think, obviously, when they talk about it, right, if they do, which, maybe they'll, for whatever reason, save that for the full release, right? I don't really know fully if that's something they're going to do, but I think that, honestly, it it how do I describe this? Talking a little bit about customizability, I think might ease a lot of the worries that some people have with the game in regards to like, oh no, are you forced to do these like driving through the open world segments, or can you can you have these ways of doing it where this just looks like, yeah, you don't need the, I don't know if they, okay, so you don't need that. That's interesting. Wait! Oh, wait a minute, I have an idea. Frick. Wait, I kind of want to try something. Okay, well, he's shooting a wee bit too fast for me to test it. No. Don't do it. If I can find the right opening. All right. I don't know why I really want to test this. Frick. Calm down. I just want to test this, man. All right, man. Oh, no, please. Oh, why am I so determined? Hold up. Wait, this is perfect. This is so stupid. I cheesed it without the bee suit. I had to know. I had to know if that was even something you could do, and it is, and I love that. Okay, really, really cool. Let's go ahead and grab the star. Cool. Goldleaf Galaxy, I think, is done for now, unless they give us a comet, which they may. I don't really know for sure if they're gonna do that. But, so yeah, I don't know. I think if there's one thing I'd really like to see them talk about, it's very much stuff in regards to potential customizability, with how you can do the races. The biggest kind of example of that I do feel as if I almost thought I hit no to saving there, which wouldn't really matter. We're going to do another star anyways, but I knew it. Oh my God, they're going to keep me in this galaxy because there's a secret star too. Oh, all right, man. All right, man. That's fine. This isn't my favorite galaxy of all time. It's not a bad galaxy by any means, but it's just not my favorite, right? I can vibe with the Cosmic Mario race. So, yeah, I don't know. I think one thing I really want to see them also talk about is stuff in regards to a versus mode. Because in every, well, I don't want to say every Mario Kart game, but most Mario Kart games, since maybe Mario Kart DS, there has always been a versus mode, where essentially you can kind of have the customizability of choosing what races you do. Maybe you could set it so that it does completely random races, you know, you could do this and that. You can really have customizability with the CPU difficulty, the CC. It's very much the customizable option when you don't just want to straight up do a Grand Prix, right? And I vibe with it. I vibe with it a lot. But it is yet to have been talked about at all or acknowledged by like Nintendo Treehouse members or anything of the sort in these events, right? And I think honestly that it is something that I'd like to see touched on, because I would be kind of saddened, honestly, if they just got rid of that. You know, I think a lot of people are of the opinion that obviously there's going to be online. They've talked about that. But people are very of the opinion that, you know, we're not just going to get the modes that were shown in these presentations or whatnot when the Switch 2 was revealed. So it's not just going to be Grand Prix, Knockout Tour, and free roam. There's got to be more to it, because if there's not, genuinely, even if you add online, which they have said they're going to, but if you do that, man, like, there's no way you're going to even remotely, there's no way you're going to be able to even remotely convince people that this game is worth $80, okay? This is, and they genuinely, I really hope they understand that's like a big hurdle they have to get over. They really can't cut corners much. There has to be like a lot of content to this, and I think especially coming out of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, where you had these, 96 tracks or something like that? I don't even remember, dude. But you had like 96 tracks or something like that. It's really important that there is content to fill in that price gap, okay? There's content to fill in that price gap, because if there's not, you know, it's not going to be received very well. There may be the chance that in the figure of sales it'll do well, right? There's always that chance. But I think the public reception of it in the public eye is not going to be the greatest if it is lacking in that content. I humbly believe and I have faith that they will make it worth it. I still think no matter what, again, at the end of the day, no matter how much content is in this game or how much it feels worth it, right? There will never be any reason this game should be $80. Never. This is humbly, like, I think if there's going to be one potential pitfall that is most likely to happen above all with this game, it's going to be the fact that this game is $80 and Nintendo thinks they can do that just because it's probably because they, you know, again, it's Mario Kart. Mario Kart was obviously their system seller for the Switch, right? It was their system seller for the Switch. So to them, it's probably like, we could get away with $80 because everyone's going to want a Mario Kart, which is, you know, potentially true. But ultimately, if that Mario Kart does not live up to the... That's how I die? I honestly don't know how to feel. Okay. Yeah. That's fine, man. I don't even... I'm more confused and bewildered than anything, really. But yeah, like, I just think that ultimately they're going to be, no matter what, going over the hurdle of the price point that they're putting because, like, you know, people do not want to pay $80 for a video game, okay? And I'm not going to sit here and say that this has not been a thing that has been in the gaming industry. The Nintendo 64 was notorious for having some weirdly outlandish prices that seemed very odd. $70 games back in the N64 era was not uncommon. There were games that were $80, $90 back in the N64 era, and I don't obviously want to sit here and act like I know the exact reason as to why that was. Maybe Nintendo just felt as if it was kind of a just thing to do. I mean, they were still kind of in the adjusting phase of, oh, they're the big thing that, you know, got people out of the funk of the video game market. You know, the market crash for video games, right? I don't know the exact wording, man, but, like, you know, they might have just gotten cocky and started pricing things that way as a result of that. And I feel like this could be one of those things because they have kind of went on the record to say that the Switch 2 is going to feature variable game pricing, which is not every game is going to be a static price, which is, I feel like they say this and they say it like it's going to be kind of a good thing, when in reality, I just don't think it is. I think ultimately in, you know, nicer terms, this essentially just means that it's going to be quite the detriment for, what is it? It's going to be quite the detriment for the average consumer, I think. So that's kind of like the main point that I really think they're really going to have to kind of push through is that, hey, a lot of people maybe don't want to pay $80 for a video game, so if you're going to make an $80 video game and try and make something of it, you better make it worth the money that you're spending, right? I think that is really going to be the important thing. Is this one of those... Yeah, I think this is one of those things that you can just kind of do that on. I'm going to be real. I feel like I've passed where the Hungry Luma, or not the Hungry Luma, but the Secret Star is. I may have to look this up. Thank you. Okay, so we're on this planet. I think I've missed where the star is. Fellas, I don't think I'm in the right location. I think... Actually, fellas, I think I'm in quite the wrong location. Okay, real quick, fellas, I'm going to look up real quick where this Secret Star is. I will be right back. All right, fellas, don't be me and be dumb. I realized very quickly after watching a brief YouTube video, I didn't even watch through the full star, but I realized in a brief moment that, Yeah, we did in fact pass where the secret started. It's literally on this planet, man. I can't. Ah, dude. It's like Goldleaf is. I don't think this is a bad galaxy at all. But I do think it is definitely a weak point for me in terms of just doing that. This just feels like a tougher galaxy for me to swallow. You know what I mean? It's like, you've heard of the tougher pill for you to swallow terminology. This is a tougher galaxy for me to swallow. This is exactly what I'm missing. So we got to do this. If you guys remember, we had a 1-star sort of galaxy, I think, back in the kitchen dome that utilized this mechanic. Wait! What? Why did it? I don't know why it let me out of there. That's so okay, dude. I wouldn't even worry about it, man. To say that I was confused would be an understatement. But yeah, something that I do also kind of hope that they touch on a bit, and I do think they will touch on this to some extent in the Mario Kart World Direct, is the customizability of online. Will there be separate sections for doing stuff with like Knockout Tour and all that? Okay, so what are we doing, right? Where are we going? Will there be customizability in Knockout, or not Knockout Tour, but online where you can do stuff with Knockout Tour and all that? I humbly hope that's something. What? Is this something I have to... Oh, this is... Dude, okay. This is a lot tougher than it looked. Go, you piece. I hope they're generous about time on this. Okay, that was the star? Alright, dude. Alright, man. And I went right into it. I didn't even have to do any movement. But yeah, I just hope there's a lot more customizability that you can do online with stuff like Knockout and all that. Of course, they've talked about the fact that you can go online with your friends. You can travel around in free roam. So there's bound to be some very different stuff that obviously you'll be able to do in terms of exploration in the online of this game. It's just a matter of seeing it in action. I do think it's going to be one of those things they inevitably talk about. But yeah, the two biggest things I'd like to see them clarify are new modes that they haven't talked about. New modes, I mean, like more or less in time trial regards. I'd like to see them clarify what versus mode is going to be like, the customizability options in that, and, you know, some customizability options that you can do in the online mode, whether you're just going to worldwides or maybe there's worldwides that are specifically set up for Knockout Tour, because Knockout Tour has to be something they push for online. I would be so utterly surprised if they just said, actually Knockout Tour is going to be an exclusive thing that we mostly leave to, you know, friends only lobbies. That would be weird to me. That would be extremely weird to me, and I doubt that's what they're going to do. I think there's going to be their own separate section for Knockout Tour that you can just play with random people on, because I think playing with real people, man, I mean, of course, I imagine CPU play is going to be pretty fun too, but I imagine that playing with real people in Knockout Tour, you know, especially from these pieces of footage we've seen from the Nintendo Switch 2 experiences, it's just going to be a good vibe all around, and I'm very excited for it. But that's enough yapping about that. Fellas, that's going to do it for this episode of Super Mario Galaxy. Gold Leaf Galaxy is a pain. And I think we're done with it now. I think it has run its course. There's probably going to be like a purple coin mission later down the line that we have to do with it, which is fine. But like, for now, I think we've officially cleared out everything that we have left to do in Gold Leaf Galaxy for now, and we can actually move on to some more fun galaxies, because I do know of a couple. I know of one specific galaxy that's going to be very fun here, and I'm excited when we get to it. It may not be at the start of the next episode, but it may be maybe the episode after next. Who knows? Only time will tell. But fellas, I'm gonna go ahead and hop up on out of here. Hop up on out of here. That's how you word that. Fellas, if you enjoyed this video, maybe like, comment, subscribe. I don't know, it's your life. Do what you want. I don't really care. And I will see you fellas in the next video. Bye-bye, guys.